That little brown bottle of hydrogen peroxide in your shed cost you about $1, and it can do things in your garden that the garden center charges you a small fortune to fix. Every single summer, gardeners spend hundreds of dollars on fungicides, root treatments, gnat sprays, and worst of all, replacing plants that died from something this $1 bottle could have stopped. We are talking about hydrogen peroxide, and chances are you have either never used it on your plants or you have seen one of those videos that hypes it up as a miracle cure for absolutely everything. So I am going to give you the honest version. There are real proven things this stuff does for a garden. There are a couple of popular tricks that are a total waste of your time, and the one at number 4 can save an entire harvest you were about to lose. Now quickly, here is why it even works. Hydrogen peroxide is basically water with one extra oxygen atom attached, and when it hits fungus, bacteria, or waterlogged soil, it releases that oxygen in a burst that kills the rot and feeds the roots, then breaks down into nothing but water and air. So let's get into it. Number 1, and this is the one thing on this whole list that flat out kills a pest on contact. If you grow anything in pots and you have noticed tiny black flies drifting up out of the soil every time you water, those are fungus gnats. And the flies buzzing around are not even the real problem. It is the larvae down in the soil, chewing on your plant's tender roots. This is where peroxide genuinely earns its reputation. Mix 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide with 4 parts water and pour it through the soil until it runs out the bottom of the pot. The fizzing you hear is the oxygen releasing and killing the larvae in the top inch or two, right where they live. University extension offices back this one up. Do it every few days when the top of the soil is dry until they are gone. It kills the larvae, but not the adults flying around, so hang a yellow sticky trap for those. And the real fix is to stop overwatering, because gnats breed in constantly wet soil. Still, a $1 bottle beats the $15 you would spend on a commercial gnat killer. Number 2, disinfecting your pots, your seed trays, and your tools. This is the boring one, and it saves you the most heartache of anything on this list. When a plant dies of a disease, that disease does not die with it. The fungus and bacteria live on in the pot, in the seed tray, and on the blades of your pruners, just waiting for you to plant something new so they can jump straight onto it. This is how one sick tomato becomes a whole bed of sick tomatoes. Garden centers sell you special sterilizing solutions for exactly this job at exactly the markup you would expect. You do not need them. Wipe your empty pots and trays down with 3% peroxide or fill a tub and soak the whole lot, then let them air dry. Do the same with your pruners, your snips, and your trowel, especially in between cutting one plant and moving to the next, so you are not carrying disease around the garden on your own blades. Even the greenhouse bench and your propagator lids are worth a wipe. It is a 5-minute habit, and it stops half the problems in your garden before they ever get a chance to start. Number 3, giving your seeds a head start before they even go in the ground. Soak your seeds in a weak solution, about 1 teaspoon of 3% peroxide in a cup of water, for around 20 minutes before you plant them. The peroxide kills any fungus or bacteria clinging to the seed coat, the stuff that causes seeds to rot in the ground instead of sprouting. And it gently softens that hard outer coat, so water soaks in faster and the seed wakes up sooner. This matters most for the big, tough-coated seeds like peas, beans, squash, and nasturtiums, and for any old packet that has been sitting in a drawer for a few years, slowly losing its vigor. Now, I am not going to tell you this doubles your germination, because it does not. It is an edge, not magic. But for those slow, stubborn, or older seeds, it can be the difference between a tray that comes up thick and strong and one that half rots in the dirt while you sit there wondering what went wrong, and it costs you nothing but a splash from a bottle you already own. Number 4, and this is the one that can save an entire harvest you were about to lose. Picture this. Your plant's leaves are yellowing fast, the stems are going soft, and when you tip it out of the pot, the roots are brown and mushy instead of white and firm. That is root rot, and it is the #1 plant killer for anyone who loves their garden a little too much and overwaters. Here is the honest truth, and I am not going to oversell this. If those roots are already gone to mush, no bottle on earth is bringing that plant back. But if you catch it early, peroxide gives that plant a real fighting chance. Root rot happens because waterlogged soil has no oxygen left, and the roots suffocate while fungus moves in. Peroxide fixes both problems at once. Tip the plant out, trim off the rotted roots, and repot it into fresh, dry soil. Then water it in with a diluted peroxide solution, and it does two jobs. It reoxygenates the root zone, which the University of Florida Extension confirms can keep flood-stressed roots alive, and it knocks back the fungus that caused the rot in the first place. The same trick saves your seedlings. When a tray of little seedlings suddenly flops over and dies at the soil line, that is a fungus called damping off, and it can wipe out your entire start overnight. A light misting of dilute peroxide across the tray slows that fungus from spreading and taking the whole batch. One hard rule though, never pour strong, undiluted peroxide onto living roots. It will burn them and finish the job the rot started. Dilute it every time. Between the plants you rescue and the trays you do not have to start over, this one tip pays for a lifetime of brown bottles. Number 5. Stopping powdery mildew and leaf fungus before it takes over your plants. If you grow squash, cucumbers, roses, or melons, you know that white, dusty coating that shows up on the leaves and spreads like wildfire. That is powdery mildew, a fungus, and peroxide is an antifungal that oxidizes those spores the moment it touches them. Mix about 1 tablespoon of 3% peroxide into a cup of water, put it in a spray bottle, and mist the affected leaves, tops, and undersides. 2 rules make or break this one. First, always spray in the early morning or the evening, never in the midday sun, because sun on wet leaves plus peroxide can scorch them. Second, test one leaf and wait a day before you spray the whole plant because tender new growth burns easily. And be honest with yourself about timing. This works best when you catch the mildew early. Once it has taken over the entire plant, peroxide will slow it, but it will not perform a miracle. The same spray works on more than powdery mildew though. It helps with rust, with the black spot that ruins rose leaves, and with the early leaf spot that hits tomatoes, all of them fungal, all of them oxidized on contact. Before you spray, pull off the worst of the already infected leaves and bin them. Do not compost them, so you are treating a plant that still has a chance instead of a lost cause. Caught early, it is a free fix for a problem the garden store sells $20 fungicides for. Number 6, and here is the first thing the internet is straight up lying to you about. There are 100 videos telling you to spray hydrogen peroxide on your plants to kill aphids, spider mites, and whitefly. So let me save you your crop. It does not really work. Yes, a direct spray will singe a few soft-bodied bugs and some of their eggs on contact, so it looks like it is doing something. But peroxide is a deterrent, not a knockdown. It will not clear an actual infestation, and while you are out there misting a myth twice a day, the aphids are breeding faster than you can spray, because a single aphid can pump out dozens of live young without even mating, and their numbers double in days. For a real bug problem, the things that actually work are insecticidal soap or neem oil, both cheap, both proven, both sitting on the same garden store shelf. By all means, give a bug a spritz if you spot one, but do not build your whole pest plan around peroxide and then watch your crop get eaten. Its real job in the pest fight is down in the soil, killing those fungus gnat larvae. The leaves are not where it shines. Do not gamble your tomatoes on a hack. Number 7, waking up tired, waterlogged soil. After a stretch of heavy rain, or if you have a bed that just holds water, the soil gets compacted and the air pockets fill up, and your roots are basically sitting there unable to breathe. An occasional watering with a dilute peroxide solution around that same 1% strength releases oxygen right into the root zone and gives those roots some air to breathe again. Now, I want to be straight with you here too. The oxygen boost is modest, and the real fix for a bed that keeps flooding is drainage. If water pools every time it rains, you need to sort the drainage, dig in some grit, or raise the bed up, because peroxide will never solve a drainage problem for you. But as a now and then pick-me-up after a soggy week when the ground is heavy and airless, it genuinely helps the roots recover. Just go easy with it, because too much peroxide in the soil starts knocking out the good microbes and worms you actually want living in there. Number 8, making your cut flowers last nearly twice as long. This one is small, but it feels like magic the first time you try it. The reason a vase of cut flowers wilts and droops after a couple of days is not really the flowers giving up. It is bacteria multiplying in the vase water, turning it cloudy and clogging the bottom of the stems so the flowers can no longer drink. Add a small splash of 3% peroxide to the vase water, about a teaspoon per liter, and it kills that bacteria and keeps the water clear. The stems stay open, the flowers keep drinking, and they last a good few days longer than they would have. For the best result, snip a little off the bottom of each stem at an angle before they go in, so the freshly cut end can actually pull the water up, and refresh the vase with clean water and another splash of peroxide every couple of days. That little floral food packet the florist tucks in the bag is mostly just doing this same job, killing the bacteria in the water, and you have a whole bottle of the stuff for $1. Number 9, and this is the end-of-season job that protects your entire garden next year, for pennies. Here's what almost nobody thinks about. When the growing season ends, the diseases and pests you fought all summer are still there. They do not pack up and leave with the warm weather. Their spores and eggs spend the whole winter hiding in the glass of your greenhouse, in your cold frames, in your stacked up plant pots and seed trays, on your bamboo canes and supports, and in the sludge at the bottom of your water butts. Then next spring, the moment you start your tender new seedlings, that overwintered disease is right there waiting to hit them. Tomato blight is the classic example. It hides all winter and then ambushes next year's plants the moment they go out. So at the end of the season, do a proper clean down. Wipe or spray all of it with 3% peroxide, the greenhouse panels, the pots, the trays, the canes, and the tools, and scrub the green algae and sludge out of the bottom of the water butt. It kills the fungus, the bacteria, and the algae that would have carried straight over into spring. This single habit is the reason some gardeners never seem to fight the same disease 2 years running, while their neighbor battles the same blight in the same bed every single spring. It costs you pennies now to save a whole greenhouse of seedlings later. Now, a quick word of caution before we wrap up. Always use the regular 3% hydrogen peroxide, the standard bottle from any pharmacy, never the stronger 35% version, which will burn both your plants and your skin. The good news is that 3% is gentle enough that the EPA even recognizes hydrogen peroxide as an approved ingredient for organic and edible growing, so you are not putting anything harmful on your food. Whenever you spray it on leaves, always dilute it, around 1 tablespoon per cup of water, and go even weaker on tender young growth. Test a single leaf and wait a day before you treat a whole plant. Only spray in the early morning or the evening, never in the harsh midday sun. Go easy on the soil drenches because too much will harm the beneficial life in your soil. Store the bottle somewhere cool and dark, and if it does not fizz when you pour it, it has gone flat, so replace it. And most importantly, remember that peroxide is a tool, not a substitute for good gardening. If a plant keeps rotting or a bed keeps flooding, fix the watering and the drainage, because no bottle fixes a problem you keep causing. That little brown bottle in your shed is genuinely one of the most useful things a gardener can own, as long as you use it honestly and not the way the internet oversells it. This channel is all about sharing common sense tips that help you stop wasting things and stretch your money further. So if you found this one helpful, subscribe and stay up to date. Your wallet and your garden will thank you.